Why is Renaissance Downtowns committed to crowdsourced placemaking? Let's first define crowdsourced placemaking. It's sourcing a triple bottom line, that's people, planet, profit, crowd, and making a triple bottom line place that people love. That's crowdsourced placemaking. Let's see it in the real world, looking at a 20th century public process for large-scale revitalization. Here on the graph, we see the participants in the process. You got the big dollar and power players who have a vast majority of the influence, and then pretty much everyone else in the yellow. Typically the big head in the red and the community activists in the yellow. Now, in order to create a level playing field, the community activists will often throw in legal threats, loud voices to basically try and drown out the big head and create a more level playing field. Unfortunately, the end result is even less influence overall, even fewer participants, everyone's turned off, and nothing gets done. So let's see how this 20th century public process happens when we apply some 21st century tools. The internet, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. What happens when we take that process into the modern era is we get broad-based support and the ability to have everyone and anyone involved. So let's look at this 21st century public process applied to large-scale revitalization. What happens? Well, suddenly you have much greater participation. As you can see, more people are able to get involved. This is known by economists as the long tail. And these are your community members with shared interests who have a common goal of seeing something fascinating and inspiring coming to their community. And they're all basically working together under the shared interests of the triple bottom line. So if we take this triple bottom line process and apply it, you have triple bottom line placemaking. And the community members are essentially crowdsourced. So what you have is triple bottom line crowdsourced placemaking. Now let's see how this applies to the real world. You take the big head, and with their influence and focus on money and power, you'll of course get power centers, strip malls, shopping malls, subdivisions, office parks. Now if you apply the long tail and their triple bottom line interests, you'll get a diversity of ideas. And they together vote on, discuss, fine-tune these ideas, and narrow it down until they ultimately come up with a shared vision that they're all proud of and excited by. So what happens is participants turn into investors because now they want to see this vision come to reality. So now they're willing to pay rent, buy, patronize, and take part in this vision. And this influence becomes investment. And therefore you can now see the yellow becomes a much greater investment capital than in the big head. And now when that momentum begins, you have small businesses, small events happening, turn into larger events and then larger businesses, and that slowly starts to influence the big head into realizing there's a market for this. And so then they're now committed to investing. And once they're committed to investing, that's when you start to see companies and the knowledge workers and the young people and creative class start to migrate. And now you suddenly have a very clearly defined market for investment to make the vision a reality. And that is why Renaissance Downtowns is committed to crowdsourced placemaking.